Here's a behind the scenes look of Forest Untethered. This is what the animals see when they walk up to our little forest cam here. And this is how we feed them. We've got these little bird feeder things that my wife and a friend put together years ago. And now we just fill these with the different kinds of food. I'll show you what we use. And that's the camera we use right here. This is an Axis P1448, and that right down there is a little microphone, a little Deity D4 Duo. It's not an outdoor mic, but we've been using it and it works fine. That camera works great. We're working on getting another one. I've got a couple other temporary cameras going now. I'll show you in a minute. But this one shoots in 4K. It has infrared, so it's great at night. So it's pretty high resolution. We don't have enough data to stream in 4K just yet, but we're going to hopefully be getting Starlink here soon. And we change these little feeders up here and there. Right now, this is kind of what we do. We usually just fill these three up with what's called Tex 14, which is different kinds of grain with molasses. And it's pretty healthy for the guys. They can't live on that alone. And we do get a lot of different kinds of animals here, and pretty much all of them eat it. We get raccoons, deer, squirrels, turkeys, lots of birds besides turkeys. And we always have fresh water going. We fill this thing up every day, and we feed the feeders usually twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. And you might wonder, well, where's the power coming from and the internet coming from? That is a wired camera over there. And what we do is we ran some power from our pump house, which I'll show you in a second, over to here. So we have water, we have power, and underground, we have an underground internet cable that is powering that. The power for the camera actually goes through the cable. It's called PoE, Power over Ethernet. And I have the plug for this fountain. You're like, where's the water coming from? It's just circulating water. There's a little pump right down here, and that just circulates the water. It's super quiet, and it kind of works out great. And the connection I just put under that thing just so it doesn't short out. And over here we have our food, and I just left it like this because this happens frequently. The animals will knock them over. I assume it's the squirrels, and you can tell they've been in here because look, we've got peanuts in there, and peanuts don't go in there. And this was the peanuts container that they knocked over. And so we need to find a way to secure those. But this is how what the food looks like. We got these 4 20-gallon aluminum cans. And let me just open these up so you can see what's in them. I'm just gonna let this thing roll. This is not gonna be a super polished video, but it's gonna be the real thing for you here. I'm gonna just flip the mic around so I can talk as I show you. So in this one we've got the Tex 14, which is that oats and stuff. And this one is peanuts, but they're about gone. These are really expensive. We were spending about $300 a month on food. It's probably more like $500 or $600 a month now because we have those other cameras we're testing. And in here I just have sunflower seeds. We're trying this. The squirrels like just the straight seeds. And in this one I have this other bird seed I'm trying, which is super expensive. Let me just show you actually. You can see. I'm gonna flip the mic around again, but while I'm doing that I'll show you. So that's what the Tex 14 looks like. That's what empty peanuts look like, and sunflower seeds, and that's the bird seed we're using now. But we have another one that we usually use which has sunflower seeds mixed into it. This stuff right here is super expensive, and I might not be getting it again. It was just kind of an experiment, but they don't seem to like it as much as the stuff that has the sunflower seeds in it. I'll come back and fix that in a second. Let me show you from this angle from behind. That's just a 4x4 that I stuck in the ground, and it's a weatherproof one. You can see it's the weather kind. You can tell because it used to be kind of green, and it's pretty good in the weather. And I just built this little thing here to protect this indoor mic, and I might just get the same one for the other camera when I get it because it's been working out pretty great. Notice it has a mic on the back and the front, so I can pick up Bigfoot walking from behind here. And if you back up, here's what the set looks like. And you'll notice that I have these logs all the way around it. And the reason for that is I want the deer and the animals to approach from the front so you can see them from the camera. So it kind of works. I mean, they can easily jump over that, but usually they come from out there and walk in. And over, you may have noticed that I have this tarp up here. This plastic tarp just keeps snow and water off of here, because without that, it gets really, really mushy and muddy down here. We've put bark down here, but it gets kind of all wonked up. We'll be putting more bark there soon. We'll be changing the setup soon after we get the other one figured out. And that is a mineral block right there. And that is a salt block. And if you're wondering the total cost between that camera, trenching, the electronics, we have a battery backup for some of that, so when some of the power goes down, this thing can still stay up. We're probably into it for $2,000 or $3,000 for this setup here, but because we got some basic stuff already, the next one won't cost as much to get set up. And we just stream using an app called Cam Streamer. Now I'm going to take you to, oh, and there's a turkey over there. Let me show you the pump house real quick. Let me just flip this mic around for you so you can see. When we bought this property, it had this little goat house on it, and we just kept it and moved it over here, and we use it kind of for storage. You want to see inside? Here, I'll show you inside real quick. Just a little bit of storage, and right here we have a wagon for hauling those bags. They come in 40, 50-pound bags. They're pretty heavy, and we used to just run a hose from here. We actually added that to our pump house. We used to just run a hose from that all the way over to there. You can get a sense of the distance, and let me just the exposure a little bit. But we've since run underground water pipes to it, and this is our pump house. We actually like this. We had a pump house here, but it didn't look like this. We did this to the outside, wrapped it, and when I say pump house, like, I wouldn't have known what that meant 2 years ago, but since moving here, we've learned we have a well. And you know what sorry about the noise. And here's what a well looks like on the inside. Oh, good, we have more peanuts. I didn't realize that. And that's actually the well itself. Water comes out of the ground. Don't know how deep. We get about 37 gallons a minute. And we get, let me just adjust exposure again. We get this kind of pressure, 74 psi. So it works great. And because we are in red dirt, we live on Red Rock Lane. We've got, so you notice, I don't know if you can tell, but the dirt is really pretty red. The water comes out of our faucet a little bit red. So we have this filter here to help that. We also have this backup generator we need to wire to our house because sometimes the power goes out. Now I'm going to take you to a set we're trying, which is this way. Join me, won't you? I'm trying to keep this simple so I don't have to edit this. I usually spend a long time editing videos, but if you go back here, I'm going to flip the mic around again because, oh, there's a squirrel there. Hey, dude. See the squirrel? Hey, buddy. How's it going, man? Just exposure. They're not too terribly skittish, but right now I have this camera going, and all we're doing is using an iPhone, and we do this to test it so that before we spend a bunch of money on another setup, we can see if we like the set, and we can see if the animals come here and if it looks nice. And I like this one simply because it's nice and green, and that's really all there is to it. We just put down a tray of sunflower seeds over here, and you can tell they're going through them already. And look at that, they already went through the water. There's some water in the background there. And if you want perspective, the other one is right over there. And now we're going to take a walk down to the other camera. We call that kind of the fairy cam because it had a little fairy forest door thing. I'll show it to you. And I'm adjusting exposure as we go. How's that? That's better, right? Here's a little path. This is decomposed granite, and this is bark, and we're just having more bark put in here in front of our place because walking in this red dirt is pretty terrible. But down here, all I've done is I've just run a power cord down to this other set that we are currently testing out, and let me know what you think. just a little bit of a walk. We have, in case you're wondering, our lot is about 2.7 acres, and it's mostly just trees and a little space for the house. And here's one of the fairy sets we tried the other day. That's the fairy door right there. These right here are tulips that the animals keep eating. We planted those bulbs there. The animals keep getting them. And we had the camera set right about here, if you look at some of our old test videos. And fairy door, and then a bird feeder thing. I forget what that's called. They don't seem to be digging it though. It's just kind of lasting. And then now I've got a camera. This is live now. I just scared a squirrel off I saw. And we have this little house here. And this set I think this looks kind of cool, right? So it looks about like that. Got a little set. And you can see that this didn't work great. It lasted about an hour and then it died. So I'm going to try to reconnect it, but it probably won't reconnect. I'll have to come back here and fix it. So these iPhones are not reliable, but they're a good way to test it before we put a real camera here. So if you had to say, if you were going to tell me where you think we should put the camera, what would it be? In that first set up there or the second set? We'll call that one the close-up squirrel cam or the fairy cam down here. Which one do you think would be better? Let me just show you one other thing. You see a lot of green, and you might be wondering, is that poison oak? Is that poison ivy? What is it? Well, I will show you. This stuff right here, that is poison oak. You can tell because it's 1, 2, 3 leaves. Leaves of 3, let them be. The tricky part is this stuff sometimes has 3 leaves, but this is not poison oak. And we have mostly that stuff, but we do have a lot of poison oak on the property. Now, if you're wondering, hey, how did you guys end up here? Like, I am fixing exposure again. I'm just going to give you a little bit of story on us real quick. I lived in Southern California my entire life. I was a Hollywood editor for 18 years. Then went into real estate, and we decided life is too short to sit in a city and live the same day every day, you know, selling houses. So we sold our house in Southern California. We bought a vandalized RV. We renovated it, and then we traveled the whole country for about a year while we built a place here in Southern Oregon near one of my daughters, and I've got a couple granddaughters near here. And we're living a very, very different life. I've never owned a truck, never owned an RV, never lived in the country, always lived in a track house. So it's a really fun life. If you want to learn more about that life, you want to hit that button right down there to subscribe to that channel. And to see what I think is the coolest video on this channel, you want to click right up there. I can't wait for you to experience our forest. If you have questions, go ahead and post them in the comments below.